Good morning everybody, welcome back to a chart nerd technical analysis video. Today we will be discussing VELO against the USDT on the daily time frame. I'm looking at the Gaussian channel, so you can get this on your charts by going to indicators and typing in Gaussian, and it's the Donovan Wall one up here at the top, and just add that onto your charts and get it on here because it's a great indicator. It's a great tool to use and it can sort of give us insights into trend change or direction on the daily time frames. I like to stick to it on the daily and the weekly also, but today we're going to look at the daily time frame. Now what I wanted to point out is from this top here back in February of 23, what happened is we sort of come down, started putting in lower highs, fell into this Gaussian channel and failed to hold all levels of this channel. Now fast forward to over here where we've had this really large pump for VELO over the last, when did we start bottoming out? Back here in August 23 all the way up until May 24, we had this really nice run and impulsive move, and we did put in this higher high compared to this high, which I'm saying over time that we've been looking at these videos for VELO, that, you know, having a low, a high, a higher low and a higher high is great structure. But what I wanted to focus on primarily is the fact that once we came down and lost the Gaussian here, we did see a long period of time before VELO actually came back into it and met it as resistance. And what you'll notice is from this high, when we came into the Gaussian, we also lost the Gaussian, very similar to what we did here, and we switched from green to red in the Gaussian at this point, you'll notice. Now fast forward, when we come into the Gaussian in our most recent correction, we also flipped from green to red. Now when we did enter this red zone, you can see that we had this sort of downtrend for VELO for quite a while, and right now we have also, since flipping into the red zone, been in this downtrend for quite a while for VELO. Now what I was just speaking about as well is the moment we lost and flipped red at this point, how long did it take for VELO to actually bottom out before having any sort of relief for a good few days? Well, from this period where we actually lost the support, it took us roughly around 39 to 40 days before we actually, where was it actually? It was 35 days before we actually lowballed out and started to make this recovery back into the Gaussian channel. So you'll see for a few days here, back in June 23, we ran into the Gaussian, came back for a higher low off of the first low, okay, and then rallied back into the mid band of the Gaussian again. But we kept failing to hold it. We kept hitting our heads on the red, and we eventually put in a new low for VELO. Now, fast forward, how long did it take roughly from our red cross to where we are now for VELO to actually lowball out? Well, here it took around 22 days, and what you'll notice is, so a little bit shorter of a time frame, and we have started recovering, and we've not yet actually, just like from this low here back in 23, we had this recovery back into the Gaussian channel for a few days. We have started making this recovery, but we've not yet actually run into the Gaussian. So it looks like we do potentially still have on our hands some further upside here, and I think that the Gaussian may act as a key level of resistance for a couple of weeks, as it did back here in June, because we haven't had a touch point of contact on this Gaussian yet. Just like back here, it took a very long time to get down and have this sort of V-shaped recovery, and when we did recover, we met the Gaussian. So right now we have had this crash. If we do get this sort of V-shaped recovery, then expect resistance here in the Gaussian. So that's just something to keep our eyes on. Now in regards to the move, if we fast forward over to the current downtrend that we're in off of this correction, you'll know that many times, if you've been watching my videos, I spoke about this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave correction where we've sort of had this really impulsive move down, and right now we are seeing relief off of this correction. But what I wanted to focus on here at the moment is how we could get to this top band of this Gaussian. Is we're similarly having this 1, 2, 3, 4. Right now we're in this 5th wave. Could this potentially bring us up to this low part of the Gaussian where we do sort of hover around for a little bit, trying to make a decision on what happens? And this is where I'm expecting, I still have the thought in my mind that even though right now we are tackling above previous resistance I mentioned in my last videos, we are closing above that 0.009 area. It's lovely to see, but looking at this indicator as well and keeping an eye on this sort of 5 wave impulsive move here, you know, running into this resistance on the Gaussian, and at that point, is this where VELO decides to then come back in for the higher low and sort of break out from its descending channel? Another thing to mention in my previous video, the descending channels I've just mentioned, we are breaking out of this channel for VELO right now, which is a fantastic sign. We was in this falling channel right here. Okay, we've started to break out. Yesterday we closed above it. Today we're looking to continue here. Is this where we do see that move up into the resistance as it's coming down on our heads on the Gaussian, and then decide to hover around for a couple of days, come back for some higher low somewhere, before looking to attack and start marching on and trying to flip this Gaussian back into green again. As I mentioned, once you do sort of have this confirmation where you're starting this downtrend, you're already in the downtrend as it were, but you lost support here, you flipped from green to red, ran into resistance at that time, and then started entering this downtrend. Very similarly to what we did in the past, where as soon as we sort of lost this support here, we just capitulated before making a V-shaped recovery into the Gaussian. We've done the same here. We lost support, and right now we're coming down looking to make this V-shaped recovery into the Gaussian. So that is something to look for. That is something to look for. Now, potential targets on where we could see some rejection, as I've mentioned, is at this Gaussian, the lower band of the Gaussian, and equally if we're getting a fib on from the low right now back to our high, you'll notice that if we do have this sort of continuation here where we come back for a couple of weeks and then start looking to march on, I think eventually we could potentially start flipping the switch here and trying to drag this thing back up again. We've got targets above that we need to see VELO break out of before retracing to this high at 0.028, and those key resistance areas sit between the 0618 and the 050 at 0.014 and 0.016. So we're still quite a way off there. You can see that right now the 0618 sort of ties with the top band of the Gaussian, and the 050 kind of ties up with the the mid band. So we have a lot of work to do, but at the moment things do look positive. We are breaking out of this descending channel. We are looking to come up into the Gaussian somewhere, and then at this point, yeah, as I said, I do think we're going to come back in for some sort of correction, and if we do rally up to this sort of resistance band here and look to pull back, then at this point could VELO sort of be in this 1 2 3 4 5 wave up to the Gaussian, and then come back for some sort of 5 wave correction back down to 0.008 towards 0.89 towards 0.0084, and at this point this is where VELO would be putting in that higher low, coming back for support on this descending channel resistance. Okay, because this is what you want to see. You want to see us come out, break the resistance right now, which is what we're doing. We're breaking this downtrend resistance. Okay, we're starting to come out of it here. We're starting to break the resistance. If we can come up in this final sort of fifth leg here into this resistance of the Gaussian, and then have a correction back down to the golden ratio, put in this higher low, come back down to this descending support channel, and then build up this base. And then I think this is where we really start to attack and continue here. And Bitcoin's looking really good at the moment as well. It is. We need to see how it plays out over the weekend. It can be a bit choppy on the weekend, so it does need to see a very positive weekly close, and I think that will be great for altcoins too in the coming weeks. So that's a quick update from me today on the Gaussian channel for VELO. I hope you enjoyed, guys. From Chart Nerd TA, take care, peace out.